Ladies and gentlemen, I won a chess tournament with a perfect score. 5 wins out of 5 games. And this video is part 2 of a 3-part mini-series that I'm going to be uploading to the GothamChess YouTube channel of this tournament, filmed back in April 2024 when I visited Toronto for the Candidates Chess Tournament. This was played in the Madison Avenue pub. They have a Wednesday night tournament. It's an incredible atmosphere. Part 1 has the first 2 rounds against a 1400 and a 1700. This is around a 1900, 2000, and then a master level player, 2200, and part 3 is yet to come. Also, a couple of quick things. I voiced over game number 3 and a little bit of game number 4 in this video. So do let me know your feedback in the comments if you like that voiceover and commentary of my thought process. Also, the full game analysis of this and bonus footage from the bar in Toronto will be uploaded to my Patreon. I launched the Patreon where I go greater in depth with analysis, I do puzzle solving, and I upload full lessons, I should say, with Grandmaster coaches. So if you haven't checked out the Patreon already, I'll put a link in the description. Now, here is game number 3 and 4.
I guess we just get rolling, yeah?
Yeah, let's just go.
Guess I'll...
Good luck, sir.
Good luck.
Okay, round number 3. I open up with e4. My opponent thinks and plays the Sicilian defense. I've got a few weapons at my disposal. I play knight to c3. And then my opponent plays g6, looking for some sort of dragon. But the biggest surprise comes on move 3, bishop to g7, completely giving up the pawn on c5. This is known as the sniper. It's literally the name. And black has various tricks, which I avoid completely by putting my bishop out to e3, just simply defending my center. Black's dream here is that I take his pawn, he develops his queen out on the edge of the board and targets my knight on c3. As you can see here from his pause, he doesn't like that move very much. And I wink at the camera. Because you're wonderful people for watching this, and you gave me the feedback to do this voiceover. So I'm doing it. Maybe I'll bring in the ambient background noise for a second too. Watch this. After some thought, my opponent plays knight f6. This is an inaccuracy. You're really not supposed to block the bishop. And I don't even know what I said there. I think I just spoke over myself. In any case, the reason I start thinking here is because I'm thinking, I don't think he's supposed to block his bishop. Now I kind of want to take the pawn. I actually don't think it was the best move. So first I'm going to go pawn to e5. In general, good advice, target your opponent's pieces like that when they're in the center. And he undevelops, which at this point I'm like, okay, this is a big loss of time for him. The eval bar is not screaming any sort of particular advantage here, but now I'm thinking if I take his pawn on c5 and he takes my pawn in the center with his bishop, I'll develop my knight and I'm going to have a really big lead in development. Like I'm going to play knight out and bishop out, right? I don't have to. I could do a handful of other things because he's losing time and he's giving up central space. But that's his style. And this is the most quiet game I had that evening. It's also probably the game that I spent the most time in the opening, as well as my opponent. Remember, this is a 3-minute game we're playing with a little bit of bonus time, which is the reason we're not speeding through it. I don't even know what to talk about anymore. Now here, guy pops over, takes a look at his friend's game. I ultimately do decide to take the pawn because, again, he's going to lose time. He's going to have to move his dark-squared bishop a second time, just like his knight twice. And now he's going to have to move it a third time because I'm attacking it. He could take my knight, but then his structure would be bad. And I just ultimately settled on, like, look, I got 4 pieces out, and he has 1, kind of. And I just settled on this lead in development with a slight advantage for white. At this point, I realized some people were talking about all the cameras set up and pointed at the board. And I think one of them said something along the lines of, they can hear you. And I was like, well, yeah, you weren't very quiet, so.
Not very quiet, like...
Anyway, all fun and good banter, and I play this move pawn to h4. Let it be known, completely unnecessary. I mean, I could have just castled, I could have maybe even castled queenside, preparing it with a queen move. My opponent tries to create some counterplay here, pinning my knight to my king. And pawn to h4 is a very kind of alpha 0 inspiration, stockfish inspiration. And here I take more stockfish inspiration with my next ridiculous move, which will appear on the board momentarily. Of course, I can just bring my queen up one square. That counteracts my opponent's pin. I do see that move immediately, queen to d2. But, you know, I gotta go here and tell my opponent why I went there.
That's my best stockfish impression.
You see king sliding over one square, sacrificing my right to castle, and pawn to h4. The two kind of signature moves of Alpha Zero, the famous chess engine. My opponent very quickly is trying to catch up on his development. And at this point, I play pawn to a3. The idea there is just to build that queenside bind. The computer hates this move. You'll actually notice it now thinks it's back to equal. Thinks it's completely back to equal. I respectfully disagree because I'm better than Stockfish. And I want to, play b4 next, build that queenside bind. When I push my b pawn to b4, attacking his queen, supported by my a pawn, my knight on c3 loses defense, not development. I don't know what I'm saying. Which means that his sniper bishop from the very beginning will become a little bit of a problem. Here, he probably should castle, but he tries to attack me, and that knight is loose. And then here I hit him with a little bit of a tactic. That knight is loose. It's not protected. So if I move my knight on f3, my queen will attack his knight. However, he will take my bishop. So here I calculate something, because it's not checkers. I do take his pawn. That is my trick. But he doesn't have to take it back, which is why the computer and I are kind of both hesitating. I knew he does not have to take my bishop. I will win a pawn, but if he plays king to f8 here, sliding over and simply saying, I will take your bishop at a later moment, that knight on g4 will take my bishop. And I thought, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do there. Luckily, he took my bishop, right? And that's kind of what chess is all about. Now I play knight to g5, which was my idea all along. That's a very famous tactic. It works if the king has to take and the knight is unprotected. And now we get to a position where my pieces are all out and ready to go. Probably here he should take my knight. He doesn't do that, and now my evaluation skyrockets. Right, he should have played bishop takes knight, probably. Now, even though that wasn't the best move, I'm centralized, and I think the confidence level is very different now, because he kind of got hit with a tactic, so you sort of see black start spiraling. He's trying to activate his light-scored bishop. I'm trying to keep it simple here. I'm just taking the pawn, because this is going to open up his king. Remember, he can't castle, because he already moved his king. Now, pawn to f4 here looks like it wins a knight, right? The knight is pinned to the king, but if I play pawn to f4, he plays bishop f5 maybe. Or rook f8. He has ways to target me as well. It's really not that simple, which is why I kind of take a pause here and I go, do I want to win this aggressively, or do I want to just simplify this? Let's just trade the queens. Not the engine's preferred choice, but I figure with no queen on the board, there will be much less resistance from black's side. I'm up a pawn. Knight c7 is a fork, more on that later. And I'm going to protect my king. And I'm going to bring my rook, and life is going to be good. He's also hesitating now because he doesn't have a lot of time. I don't have a knockout punch, though, right? So I just bring my rook. That's a simple move. He kicks out my knight. I put my knight in the center. Now he activates his rook. Great move. And I'm like, you know what? I think I got to, defend my center and maybe shut down his knight. So I play pawn to f3. Quick, solid move, playing on his time trouble. And he ultimately blunders. I play knight to c7 check. He sees it. I seize it. We all seize it. I take his rook. The game's over, but I think here he actually loses on time.
This guy was super complicated.
Yeah.
What's your rating?
You must be above 2,000, yeah, 21, 22?
About 2,000.
What?
I'm about 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it was. I guess it's in person gets the elo.
Yeah.
But FIDE, or you definitely not.
The FIDE is 19.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
50.
not 2,000 rapid. Definitely. Yeah, it was very complicated.
Yeah, good game, okay.
You shouldn't take my bishop.
Yeah, I kind of missed. I just missed the discover attack on the knight.
You thought I was trying to play queen d5
yeah,
or something.
I was looking at waiting it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me again. So I have 3 out of 3 at this point. Hopefully you liked the voiceover. And I've defeated a 1,400, a 1,700, and now a 1,900, 2,000 rated player. Now I'm perfect score. 3 people with 3 points out of 3 play other people with 3 points out of 3. And the next guy who showed up to play against me was extremely jacked. And he's one of the organizers, one of the OGs of this Madison Avenue pub chess movement. And I gotta say, it's really incredible. There's just dozens of people there playing every single day. And for this tournament, there was I don't know, over 100 people in the bar just playing chess and participating and so on and so forth. So this was a really nice game, a little bit less commentary, but a little bit more banter. And a friendly reminder, I go into massive detail analyzing these games and uploading bonus video footage that's not on YouTube to the Patreon. Link is in the description. Here's game 4.
Whenever you're ready, can you start? Just started playing d4.
No, don't start with that. That's I just started.
You can find a lot.
So this is round number 4. I'm playing the gentleman who I believe runs this entire event at the Madison Pub in Toronto. Great place. Toronto is one of my favorite chess cities, and we have a modern defense on the board here. He also looked like he could squish my head like a fruit, you know? And I didn't want to endure his wrath, so I was very scared. So I kept complimenting him, like this.
The playing style matches the muscles. You gotta.
The big center?
It's like scary, you know? Just...
I'm all intimidation, no skill, that's it. When I play James Canty, that's when I play like super passive.
Oh my god, that's the most muscular matchup in history. And I hate playing James. It's like way too aggressive.
It's like
So my opponent here is rated around 2200, and I choose the modern defense. The idea is to develop all my pieces and strike in the center with this move c5. It's a good opening because it keeps things flexible, and that's what I play.
just fighting back.
I have to. Guessing you were here when Magnus was here?
Yes,
That was cool?
All 3 times. He came here 3 times.
Oh, yeah. This place has really good acoustics. We hear everything everybody's saying
Love you.
about our huge battle here.
So the result of the opening, I would say, is actually quite nice for black. My opponent lost a valuable tempo by playing pawn to a3, and now is trying to start a fight with me, which makes a lot of sense because he's jacked, but also because I'm not developed. Luckily in the modern, there's a lot of creative defenses, like I can take his bishop, I can take his knight, I can take his pawn, so let's see what I do.
Greg Shahadi's another big guy. He's here too.
It's going to be a matchup of talking about jack dudes. Is that the CrossFit arms or?
No.
No. You guys know any jack guys?
This guy's pretty good, right?
It's like the most.
Broy,
Yeah. Very hilarious game going on. I'm just gonna play bad moves and talk about jack guys the whole time. It's like a very professional move.
Thank you.
I didn't say it was good. I said it was professional. Like I don't. It looks very smart.
Professional at something.
It might be very good. I don't know.
Professional badminton players.
Okay, what was the big idea? That was the big idea.
So I attack his bishop with my knight here, and I ask him what his idea was. He slides the bishop back. That was the idea, to bring the king out of the way and the bishop back. But here I sort of sense that he's under danger, he's under pressure, my knight is targeting him in the center. Maybe I can castle, but I really like how my light-squared bishop is pointed at his king, and now I start chopping the center open.
I feel like I just took a pawn. I don't know.
Looks weird.
Luckily, it's not chess boxing. You just get to take a pawn and not be scared of the outcome.
That's true.
More compliments. Gotta compliment him, he's very scary.
Thank you.
I know the conversation's just riveting, so it's good banter.
I used to like competition.
I never really liked your, I just felt like it was a little.
Overextended.
No, I think when you play so aggressively, you have to just commit. I feel like you were a little hesitant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was just like enjoying myself.
All right.
I thought this.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, watching this back, it kind of felt like I was trash-talking him, but I really wasn't. I was just kind of giving an honest assessment. I felt like he was a bit hesitant, and when you play in such an aggressive fashion, you kind of have to go for it. Now, I just got to trade off all his pieces, because that way he has less to throw at me.
Holy shit. Sorry.
Unexpected.
This is a fancy move.
Didn't want you to mess up my pawn structure.
Yeah. I wanted to mess up the pawn structure.
I need it.
That wasn't very nice. All right.
Hey, you took my pawn.
I did do that, yes. That is... All right.
So he takes my knight. His move, rook d1, was very good. Very tricky. And now I sense that I have to castle, and we have a fight to the death. Luckily, it's on the chessboard.
Alright, you told me to go for it. I'll go for
Yeah,
it.
I was like expecting this, and now it's gonna probably be just like our Title Tuesday game. Yeah, it's gonna be our Title Tuesday game part 2. All right, I'm gonna defend myself as best I can. You can't mate me with no queen.
Alright, I refuse.
Why do you refuse? It's like making my life way more complicated.
I'm just gonna have to sack like all my pawns, I think. That's the play.
Why? This is like so unnecessary. Aren't you all supposed to be like nice in Canada? This is like...
So I can get my pawns, man. A nice guy. Probably.
The rook should not lead the attack. It's a very sad move to have to make. Oh,
All moves are sad.
oh.
Alright, let's go for it. I'm gonna pretend I have some. No, not that one. That's not very nice. I don't want to get mated, I want to mate you.
I know, that's why I went there.
Sad position. Just gonna take it, just like
Yep.
You don't care about my mate threats?
No. I have a better mate threat.
Very nice.
I had to get there one move right before.
Nice for you.
Yeah, I think I'm not trying to be some sort of coach, but I used to play like this too. You just never play A3. Like you just go straight E5, put the bishop in the center, yeah. And that's like, I mean, it's black will be fine, but once you start letting me get enough time with A3,
It's like
basically, yeah. I remember I played like this against some Russian like old guy way back when I was a kid. He was like, yeah, never do that. I was like, okay.
Hi, this is the outro. So I have 4 out of 4 now, which means I am going to be playing a final boss in the 5th round. So stay tuned for part 3. That's all I have for you today. Check out the Patreon though, for real. It's a lot of content. It's like $7 a month at a base price. You get a lot of stuff on there. Anyway, get out of here.